Hey guys, Sean Phillips here on a brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday Shyamalans today. They're gonna go out today, see what things came out, see what things are on sale. I know today though, big release-wise, the big things that come out, the main thing is M. Night Shyamalan's film Glass. There's a number of different retail exclusive editions of that one. At Target, they have a really cool exclusive Steelbook, Blu-ray Steelbook of that one. I feel like that's one of those ones that's gonna go really, really fast. So we'll see if Target has any of those ones left. I'm leaving a little earlier as well to, just hopefully to see them in the stores, and they still have some left. Also, Walmart has an exclusive edition, which isn't an exclusive edition of the actual movie, but it's an exclusive where it has all three films in the trilogy. It has, Unbreakable, Split, as well as Glass, and that's the only way you can get all three of them together in a pack of all the movies on Blu-ray. Also, at Best Buy, they have an exclusive edition as well, which is a 4K exclusive, which is a really cool one that's like a clear edition, where it's like a clear cover, and it has reversible images for the three main characters, and you can change out the images for, which character you want to be on the main cover. It's a really cool one as well, so hopefully they have some of those ones left as well to show. Also though, when it comes to Glass, I teamed up with Universal and we'll be having a giveaway for a Blu-ray copy of the film. Now, since it's the U.S. release, this giveaway is only open for people in the U.S. But if you guys are interested in winning a copy, basically all you have to do is just make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and then head over to my Instagram and make sure you're following me on Instagram. And then on the post for today, talking about today's video, just leave a comment on there, and then like in a couple days, I'll message the winner, to send them a direct message on Instagram to let you guys know you won. Also though, when it comes to releases today, some of the other things that come out, the big releases, is Keanu Reeves' film that he stars in, Replicas. That comes out today, as well as The Boy Who The Boy Who Would Be King. That comes out today as well. Also though, at the end of this video is going to be a whole bunch of brand new DVD and Blu-ray reviews for some things I received to review and talk about for you guys. Some really, really cool stuff. A new title from Arrow Video, something new from Scream Factory, as well as a ton of new things as well. And as always too, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the DVDs and Blu-rays I reviewed, if you guys have seen any of them, if you guys plan on picking any of those ones up. But anyway though guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Target we go. But in here though, they actually have all the stuff out in here today, so that's really cool. And they actually have 4 copies still of the Glass Steelbook. If you guys, went out today looking for this one at Target, let me know how many copies your store had, if you still had any ones left. It's about $11.40 now. This one though has artwork on here, exclusive cover art by Alex Ross, but it's a really, really cool image on this one. You can't see the back image on this one because it has the features and everything about the movie, but I saw it online. There's some really cool images on the back of this one as well. But this one is $27.99 for the Steelbook edition, and then $29.99 for the 4K Ultra HD edition. I'm going to be having a review of that one at the end of this video. I really, really like this movie a lot. And then it's $24.99 for the standard Blu-ray, and then $19.99 for the DVD of that one. And the DVD though doesn't have all the features though. Some of the features are off of that one. Also though, Justice League versus the Fatal 5, they have an exclusive Steelbook edition of that one here, and only a Target Steelbook. That one's $22.99 for that, $19.99 for the standard Blu-ray, and then $29.99 for the 4K of that one. I'll be talking about this one at the end of this video as well. Also though, for $19.99 and $14.99 for the DVD, they have The Kid Who Would Be King. This is from the director who did Attack the Block. I really like this movie. I thought this was a really, really fun like adventure film. Kind of a throwback to like an 80s style to this a little bit. And also though, they have the Keanu Reeves movie here, Replicas for $19.99 on Blu-ray, then $14.99 for the DVD of that one. And like this movie though, I really like this movie. I thought this was a cool film. There was some kind of little bit of goofy, over the top, some of the aspects of this, but it was about his family that all died in this accident, and he ends up bringing them back, doing this technique of cloning that he, was working on at his, where he works. And there's all kind of problems and stuff going on with it. But I like this one. This is definitely one worth checking out. There are some empty spots, but I don't think there was anything new in these spots. I think that was just stuff from the past weeks. But it is cool. They have all the things out in here today. Other than that though, I don't see anything else different here either, but really glad to see they had all the things out in here today, because like I said, a lot of times I've come in here and they haven't had them out. They do have a thing up here too for $5 the DVD editions of Graveyard Shift. These are ones that have not come out to Blu-ray in America. There's a Blu-ray of Silver Bullet from Australia. Hopefully, though, you know, Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, that gets a Blu-ray release. Same with Graveyard Shift, and especially Pet Sematary 2. This is one, I always really like this. And then The Dead Zone. But for $5 for these ones, if you don't have these movies, all these ones are really, really good. But other than that, though, like I said, I don't think there was anything else in here different today. And I think all this stuff was the same as last week over here. Into Walmart we go. In here, though, they have a thing here called Dragon Ball Super Brawly. I believe that's what it's called. And they have an only at Walmart release of this one. And I believe their exclusive is the one with the lenticular cover on this one. I believe that's what is exclusive about that. And then it's $19.96 for the Blu-ray, and then $17.96 for the DVD of that one. They have Justice League and the versus the Fatal Five here as well for $24.96. But here's the exclusive edition that I was mentioning that has all three of the films in the series here, which has Glass, Split, and Unbreakable together. And this is a cool set because the Unbreakable one was released through Disney, so that's cool that this is included in here. And I think that it's $29.96 for this one, because I think this one's in the wrong spot. Yeah, so someone put that in the wrong spot, so it's $29.96 for that, $27.96 for the 4K, $22.96 for the Blu-ray, and they have the 4K here of The Kid Who Would Be King. That one's $24.96 for the 4K, $19.96 for the Blu-ray of that one, and then it's $14.96 for the DVD. But one thing I see down here, which is kind of interesting, also, yeah, they have replicas, is $17.96 for the Blu-ray, but they have, and I didn't even know about this, they have How High 2, which stars Little Liati and DC Youngfly. I had no idea they made this. This one here doesn't have a price. I'm going to see how much this one was. But this is one of those things that came out of absolutely nowhere. Like, I didn't see any posts about this online or anything at all. And I guess it was made for, because it says MTV, so maybe it aired on MTV or something? I don't know. That's really interesting. Like, I had no idea about this one at all. One of the other things today was this movie here called Chima Strain. There's another one. I don't know much about this one. I'm going to have to read what this one's about. That one's $12.96. And like I said, replicas were $17.96 and $12.96 for the DVD. Other than that, though, let's see if there's anything else over here. I know one of the other, there was a 4K release. Yeah, they have that as well. The 4K release of The Karate Kid here. And that one's $19.96 for that one. So that's a really good price for the 4K of that. Next week, they're going to be releasing Alien on 4K. And I think it's only going to be $14.99 for that, which is going to be a really good price for a 4K release. Also, though, one of the other things that did come out today, though, was on this side over here, which is the kids' releases, the complete second season here of Steven Universe, which comes with this little plush. So I'm going to be talking about this one at the end of this video, but that one is $24.96 for that one. Yeah, so I ended up getting that How High 2. It wasn't as cheap. I was hoping it was going to be like $9.99, but it was $14.99, which is a little high, but what's really but what's funny about it was I literally could find nothing about it online. On Amazon, it's not for sale on Amazon, at least as of now. I looked on, you know, Walmart's website. It wasn't for sale on Walmart's website, so like it's really strange. There's like hardly anything about it, and I think it's like going to be airing on MTV, but like this is the unrated one, so I'm sure it's going to be real cut up when it airs on MTV, but really was a random thing to see, and like I said, I knew nothing about this coming out at all. And this past weekend I saw a couple of different films. The first one I saw was the film Little, which stars Regina Hall. It's basically, though, about Regina Hall's character who runs this company where they design apps and everything like that, and her character, you know, when she was a kid, she was like really picked on and like was really nice and everything, but since she got really picked on at this one talent show, she changed her ways, and she was never really nice again, always kind of had her guard up and had kind of an attitude and everything. And in her company, though, she's always kind of like the mean boss and yelling at the employees. And the one day in the office, though, there's a donut food truck outside, and the food truck driver's kid is along, and the kid is kind of messing around in the office downstairs, and Regina Hall's character starts yelling at the kid, and the kid is in there doing magic as well. And the kid like says this magic spell and's like, I wish you knew what it was like to be little, and you knew what it was like, and what I kind of things I deal with. And of course, though, the next morning, Regina Hall's character wakes up and she's little, and it's kind of about her having to, go back to school again, back to the school where she was picked up when she was a kid, and then her, assistant from work has to try and help her figure out exactly where the food truck is, and she's trying to figure out how she's going to turn back to be an adult again, and has all kind of counters and problems and situations. The movie was like, kind of like Big, but reversed, because in Big it was Tom Hanks' character turning into an adult. This one, it's about, her character turning into a kid. There was some funny stuff in the movie. It wasn't like 100% perfect all around, but like I thought it was decent. The other one that I saw was Hellboy, which is the new Hellboy film, which is pretty much the Hellboy reboot. And like, the reviews for that one have been really negative. There's been like so many really, really bad reviews on that one. I'll say though, Ron Perlman though really was amazing in the first, the original 2 Hellboy movies. I loved him in that part. Like he's had a great voice for it and everything. Just everything about it, he really fit that role. The new one though, I thought it was okay. The one thing about it, though, there's something about the movie, like some of the CGI was good, but then some of it was reminding me of like CGI in a couple spots from like a movie like 2003. Like, and some of the movie even had this kind of a feel, like it was like, with some of the effects just felt sort of dated, and some of the story felt a little dated as well. It's hard to explain, but it was like Hellboy trying to like, stop Mila Jovovich's character, who came back, who's like this evil witch and everything. I liked her character in the movie, but all around it wasn't perfect, but I did like it, enough to say it's worth watching. I don't understand though why it has like such, like negative reviews. Like it's like some things have said it's like the worst movie of the year and all that. I don't see it like that. I just don't see it as in any way better whatsoever than Guillermo del Toro's films, which I thought really had a cool look to them and style and everything, and like the performances and the characters really cool in it. This one just lacked in a lot of departments of that kind of stuff, and it also felt a little bit too long. Like some of it went on a little longer than it should, just a little bit. Still, like I said, still is worth seeing though. Let me know in the comments below though what you guys thought of either of those films, if you guys got to see them, or what movies you saw this past weekend, if you got to see anything. Into Best Buy we go. In here today, though, this is a really cool edition of Glass. It's $29.99 for the 4K one. Like I said, it's a clear packaging. Then it has these 3 images. You can switch between the 3 main characters and switch out the pictures and put them in here like this. It's really cool. Like I said, it's like a cracked glass image here. I really, really like this one. Like I said, $29.99 for the 4K of that one. Then they have Justice League versus the Fatal 5, and they have an exclusive one here that includes a action figure in here of the, what was the character in this one? I mean, like I said, I'm talking about this one at the end of this video, but the Starboy character, that one's $33.99 for that one, as well as they have the Dragon Ball Z movie here as well, the one that came out today. Yeah, and the one at Walmart was a lenticular exclusive. This one just has a standard cover on that, and that one's $22.99 for that one. And over here, though, in the actual section, they have replicas here for $18.99 for that one. They also have The Kid Who Would Be King. In the front, they had the 4K of that as well, but that one's $19.99 for that one. And then they also had in the front the 4K of the Karate Kid movie as well. That one which just came out. And if you guys have seen that one, let me know how that one looks 4K-wise. So anyway though, guys, that's all for this DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video. Like I always say, if you guys enjoy these shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also in the comments below, let me know, what you guys picked up on DVD or Blu-ray or 4K today. If you guys picked up anything. Also as well, let me know what you guys thought of all the DVDs and Blu-rays that are reviewed at the end of this video, what you guys thought of them, and if you guys plan on picking any of those ones up. But anyway though, guys, now stay tuned for the reviews. And the first one I got here is from Arrow Video. It's a movie here called Scared Stiff, and this is from director Richard Friedman, who also directed Doom Asylum, which Arrow Video released as well, which is an absolute must-watch if you guys have not seen that movie, about these teens breaking into this old abandoned asylum. They're messing around. There's like this crazy killer in there. Really, really fun movie. Great synth music. One that absolute, like I said, must-watch. He also directed Phantom of the Mall, which I really love as well. Hopefully at some point that one gets a Blu-ray release. That was like, I think, might have been like Pauly Shore's first or one of his very first, earliest films that he acted in, about this mall and this like guy who was like the Phantom of the Mall haunting the mall, causing all these problems and stuff. Really, really fun movie as well. This one is one that I had never seen before, so I was really excited to watch this. And it's essentially, though, about this therapist who ended up moving he got like, I think he got like a new position at the job where he's working at, and he bought this house nearby, which is an old plantation house, which is like had like a bad history to it, and like there was like this slave owner that owned it in the past in the 1850s, and he was like horribly abusive, and there was like a kind of like a curse, like a protection curse that was cast on the house into this amulet of the house, and the amulet ended up like something happened to it, but so the curse was kind of still on this house and everything, and essentially though this guy moved into the house, the therapist and his girlfriend and you know her son all move in together. It's the first time moving in together in a place, and essentially though right when they get there, weird things start to happen. The son, like his computer, he starts seeing like these weird like 3D images of like this amulet projecting, and then like they discover early on in the movie, like in the first like 10 minutes or so, this like hidden room, and you saw what was going on in this room in the very beginning of this movie in the 1850s, but like so weird stuff was happening in there in the past, and like then they discover this room, and essentially when that happens, and that like weird things start happening throughout this movie, and it's like you know his girlfriend is seeing things, and he's like thinking that his girlfriend's cracking up, so he's trying to do like the therapist thing and trying to like go, well, it's probably this and maybe this move and all this and us moving in together, and like he's kind of has all of his theories, and he's like doing the therapist kind of thing. The one thing about this movie I will say though is the last 30 minutes of this movie is when the movie gets totally crazy with what happens in this movie, and it's like such a cool, like I said, the last 30 minutes of this movie, it like really picks up and gets to be a really, really cool movie. I really, really like this one. Like I said, I was really glad to see this one for the first time. On here though, it has a brand new 2K restoration from the original film elements. Really, really good transfer on this one. This also has in here a brand new commentary track on here with the director, as well as the producer and a film historian, as well as the making of Scared Stiff, which has brand new documentary featuring interviews with the director and then some of the actors in this one and the special effects artist. There's also in here a brand new interview with the composer on this one, an image gallery. And in here as well too, it also has a booklet with some pictures from the movie and everything, like a really cool creature film. And like I said, there's some really trippy kind of like Nightbreed kind of stuff that happens in this movie with some of the creatures. But if you guys have not seen this one, definitely one I would highly recommend you guys check out, especially if you guys like Doom Asylum and Phantom of the Mall. Now the next one here is from Shout Factory Scream Factory line. This one I just finished watching now, and it's a movie called The Brain, and I really, really like this movie. This was such a cool, out there movie about this this doctor, like therapist doctor, and he was the actor who was in Reanimator, in the second Reanimator film. And essentially though, he's like has this gigantic brain in a vault, like in this vat thing, kind of like in City of Lost Children, kind of like the brain thing, like in that almost. And it's like this brain that's kind of controlling things, and he's like projecting this TV show to people's homes, and like kind of like a mind control show to try and like control people and like what they do and everything. And there's basically though, this one kid at school though, the high school nearby, he's kind of like the bad kid, almost like a Bart Simpson kind of kid, and he's like putting like these explosive like smoke bomb kind of, they even have a warning about it at the end of the movie not to mess with these things, like this salt thing that he puts down the drain and causes like an explosion there, and he gets caught doing it. And that because of that, the principal's like a fan of the show that's being broadcast, like the mind control show, and he's like, oh, you're gonna get suspended if you don't go to this this therapist psychiatric hospital, and he's gonna try and help you and help figure out why you're doing this and why you're acting the way you are and acting out like this and everything. So he gets sent to this place, and of course though, this brain is like hooked up to this thing, and he's in there, and the brain is like kind of controlling him and making him see things and have these trippy visions and everything, and he ends up leaving. And then like essentially when he leaves, it becomes a whole nightmare for him, like people are after him, and like things get worse and worse and worse as this goes along. But this is a great creature movie with this brain, like this brain, like it's like attacking people, and like really kind of has like a Full Moon vibe a little bit, like that kind of vibe, like some of the like Head of the Families a little bit, kind of mixed with like an old school creature like film as well. It's like kind of a mix of all these things together. I really like this one. I really like the one too, the actor who was you know, the one from Reanimator's like henchman who worked with him at the hospital. You know, he was in like A Christmas Horror Story, and he's been a bunch of different things, but I really liked him in this movie as well. On here though, and there's also an interview with him on this, but there's a new 2K scan from the original only surviving film elements. Did a really good job cleaning this one up. This has on here though a new commentary track on here with the director, an audio commentary track on here with actor Tom Bresnahan, as well as a commentary track on here with the composer, some interviews with the actors on this one, as well as the assistant art director on this one as well. But a really fun movie. Highly recommend you guys check this one out. The next one here is from Scream Factory as well, and this is a movie here called Tarantula. This is a film from 1955, and this is essentially though about this the guy is doing like these experiments on trying to like make things grow and like bigger and everything, and like in his his lab and stuff, he has like these are really cool the way they did the effects back then. They were like rats that were like 10 times bigger, and they were basically just like projecting the image of like the rats to make them look bigger. And it was it wasn't like they were building a thing for some of these ones in the beginning, but they were just projecting the image bigger. Same with like how they were doing a lot of the stuff with Tarantula. Some of it was like stuff they made, but a lot of it was like projecting it in a certain way. So like when you think of like these kind of gigantic like bug kind of movies and stuff like that, this is like a perfect example of like showing what these films were like and like what they were doing with them when they were having giant like killer spiders and everything. Because this is basically though about in this lab, something ends up happening. He has like this sort of like test subject that he's experimenting on, and he comes in there to attack and kill this scientist. And like by coming in though, he ends up breaking things, and the giant spider ends up getting loose, and the giant spider is going out and like attacking people, and there's all these crazy scenes of the giant spider, and like they were, I think some of it was like forced perspective and like they were projecting it, but it was like really cool the way they were doing this. Every time I see these kind of movies too, I always think of, you know, Matinee, you know, in the movie that Matinee that they were making, the Joe Dante film, they're making that movie Mant, and anytime I think of like, you know, super crazy creature feature kind of things about giant creatures and stuff like that, I always think of that movie. You know, Shout Factory released that one as well, the movie Matinee. If you guys have not seen that one, an absolute must-watch as well. But this is just a really fun, crazy killer giant spider movie, and they're figuring out how to stop this spider. It has on here, though, a new commentary track on here with film historians, as well as a theatrical trailer and a still gallery on this one. Next one here is from Universal, and I talked about the Blu-ray of this one, but now I have the 4K one. The Universal sent the 4K one to review, and this is M. Night Shyamalan's newest film, Glass. Now, I'm going to try not to talk, you know, I don't want to spoil too much about this, because when I was talking about it before, the one thing about this movie is if you guys have not seen Unbreakable, you know, you will watch Unbreakable first and then Split, you know, it's you really need to see those movies to really get this film and like to pick up on everything, because there's so many references. I mean, it's one of those things you could still watch it, but I really don't feel like you understand it as much. But essentially, though, in Unbreakable, Bruce Willis's character survives this terrible, train crash, and he's the only one that survives. And there's all this mystery on how in the world did he survive this, and Samuel L. Jackson's character is somebody who's always like, has a brittle bone disease, and he's always had all these breaks, and he's like trying to find somebody that he kind of considers almost like a superhuman that, has lived through things, and he finds Bruce Willis's character, and you find out what that's about. And in Split, it's, James McAvoy's character, who has a multiple personality disorder and has all these different split personalities, and he's not even aware of them, that he has this, and he's like all these different versions of himself. And essentially, though, he kidnaps a group of these girls, and one of them is Anna Taylor-Joy's character, and he kidnaps them, and he's like planning something and telling them about how this beast is going to come. But with Glass here, you have all the characters coming together in the setting of a mental hospital. And they're all in there being interviewed by Sarah Paulson's character, who's trying to talk to them, and she has her reasonings for why they're there, and trying to convince them of something and tell them that they're not something. Like I said, I don't want to ruin anything, but I really thought they did, M. Night Shyamalan did an amazing job having these movies all come together, and everything to me was really pretty cool. I don't know if the ending of the movie was 100% perfect, though. I will say, there were some things about the ending I didn't 100% love, but I still really like this movie. I will say, too, one of the other things that I didn't think it was cool, and I was talking about this last time around, was I didn't feel like the music was as cool as like an Unbreakable. Like they didn't use all of the theme, because Unbreakable had this amazing theme, which I consider probably one of the top scores of all time. And like they didn't use that as much in this one. I wish they would have used that a little bit more, but I still really did like the music in this. On here though, it has a bunch of different features. It has an alternate opening, which has a really, really cool alternate opening. A whole bunch of deleted scenes. I think it's like 13 minutes of deleted scenes, and they all have introductions to them as well. And, you know, Shyamalan talking about them and like the reasons for deleting them and the reason for the alternate opening that he didn't use. It also has on here a bunch of different interviews and behind the scenes stuff on here about the stunts and everything, and talking about, you know, coming back together to make this movie. But also 4K wise though, this is a very, very like a lot of it's set in like a clinical kind of environment, like in the mental hospital. So it has like a real like kind of dreary kind of like clinical kind of look with the lighting and everything, which really benefits from the 4K. Like the big thing with 4K is the HDR, which is all about the contrast levels and the brightness levels, which also it has like deeper darks to the colors and everything. It's also a very dimly lit film. There's a lot of stuff in like these dimly lit rooms and everything, and that really works well in with the HDR, which really has much more definition to the scenes and everything. So if you guys have 4K capacity, I would highly recommend you guys pick this one up in 4K, and definitely check this movie out. I really like this movie. I honestly have pretty much liked all of M. Night Shyamalan's movies, mainly the horror ones. Like some of the ones like Last Airbender and some of those ones I didn't love, but like The Village is one that I feel like doesn't get enough attention, which I've always really loved that movie. But like I said, definitely check this one out. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this one as well. And the next one I got here is the German release of Suspiria. This is the 4K Ultra HD release of the remake of Suspiria. Now, this one here, now keep this in mind, 4K is region free. So a 4K release, as of right now, they don't have any region code lockings on them or anything. So you guys can, can watch this 4K in your American Blu-ray 4K player. But the actual Blu-ray disc in here, that is region B locked. So you guys would have to have a multi-region Blu-ray player or be in the area where your player is region B. So just keep that in mind if you're getting this to watch only the Blu-ray. I wouldn't recommend it if you don't have a multi-region Blu-ray player. Now, when it comes to this film, though, I love this movie. This is from the director of Call Me By Your Name. Now, I love Dario Argento's original movie. I love everything about that, like the stylistic look of it, the lighting, like the amazing lighting scheme of that movie, the music, everything about that movie. It's super creepy, just the tone of the movie. But, the director of this film, and it's, Luca Guadagnino. I'm sorry saying his name wrong, but essentially, though, he, in this one, he goes for this super gloomy, dreadful, sad, depressed, washed out look. This, like, totally the most gloomed out, sad feel you can go for, he goes for with this movie. Even the music, it's not like quick-paced. Tom York from, Radiohead did the music in this movie, and he went for this, real sort of sad. I've listened to the music for this movie so many times. I really love his music in this movie. It's a totally different vibe, though, but it's basically, though, if you guys don't know the film, this is about Dakota Johnson's character who goes to this dance academy in Berlin, and it's like this girls' dance academy. There's also very, very few men in this movie as well, which I thought was a really interesting thing they did in this movie. There's very few. And, the school is run by Tilda Swinton. Now, Tilda Swinton may or may not be playing more than one role in this movie. I don't want to ruin that, but she may or may not be. And essentially, though, Dakota Johnson's character soon realizes that there's something really odd and strange about these women that run this place. There's some mysteries of things that have happened to people who've been there in the past, and there's a lot of odd stuff going on. And Chloe Grace Moretz's character, you see her in the beginning of the film, kind of running away from the school, going to see this therapist, trying to get away, saying that she's discovered weird things are happening as well. Mia Goth is in the film, and she's one of the girls of the school. All around, though, I really like this movie. I thought this was very creepy. There's a scene in this, the last, part of the movie is intense and, like, crazy, and has, like, some crazy stuff happening. Like I said, it's so different, but to me, just such a cool movie, though. Highly recommend you guys check this one out. 4K wise, though, looks great. This is a movie meant to see in 4K, because as much as it's gloomy and all that works with 4K, though, because it's all with the HDR and stuff. It really, you see much more in the contrast levels and everything. There's also some really heavy duty scenes dealing with the color red of these washed out, like, super bright red scenes and stuff that really look cool in 4K. So if you guys have 4K, also the cover on this one I really love. The next ones here are is from Warner Brothers. They sent over a free copy of this one to let you guys know that this is available. And this is Steven Universe, the complete second season here. This one's in a cool big case like this. It includes a keychain here. One of the characters, it's in a keychain. Now, I don't know too much about the show. I talked about the first season of this when this released, but it's a fun, wacky show. And the character of Uncle Grandpa, who's another show on, Cartoon Network, he has pops in the first episode of this one as well. Like I said, this is Steve Universe, the complete first season here. It has all 22 episodes, as well as the animatics as well for the episodes. It's a 2-disc set. But essentially, though, it's about this sort of like all the characters have these sort of like gems, and they're sort of like kind of like superheroes essentially. But Steve Universe, his character is kind of new to having like powers or abilities essentially, and he kind of ends up getting into kind of problems and situations, and there's all kind of like wacky situations and encounters and stuff in it. Really over the top kind of crazy animated characters and everything. It's a very, very fun show. Like I said, I want to let you guys know that this one was available from Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers also sent over a free copy of the show Shameless. This is the complete 9th season of the show, which stars William H. Macy. This is the show too. I've only seen selective episodes of the show here and there, so I don't know, can't really explain too much about the show too well, to really explain it, what's happening in it. But essentially, though, it's about William H. Macy's character and about his family, and then like the people that are connected to his family, like his kids and everything, and they have all their own sorts of problems. William H. Macy's character has problems here and there with alcohol, and and all these sort of kind of issues. And it's kind of like as soon as like one thing starts to kind of get together for the family, then they have another kind of problem happen, and like all these certain situations and all these kind of problems and everything. On here, though, it has feature-wise, it has unaired scenes. I'll show you guys a look inside here at this. It also has an episode guide in here that has, when they aired and a little bit about the episodes, and also says, what the features are. And it has unaired scenes, though, on all of the episodes. So really cool. They included them as a feature on here, and it's a 3-disc, 4-disc set here as well. Like I said, want to let you guys know that this one was available from Warner Brothers. And the next one here is from Warner Brothers as well. They sent over a free copy to let you guys know that this one is available. And this is the brand new DC Universe movie here, Justice League versus the Fatal 5. And this is the 4K Ultra HD edition, which includes the 4K, the Blu-ray, and the digital copy of the film. And essentially, though, this is about the Justice League who are dealing with this new threat, which is the Fatal 5. It's these characters who are the villains in the film. And essentially, though, they're trying to get all the members together so they have all the power when the whole Fatal 5 comes together. And they're trying to like get everyone, and the Justice League is trying to stop them. And it also deals, though, with this character Starboy, who's from the future, and like Justice League kind of believes that he might be like the key to kind of help them figure out how to stop, the Fatal 5 from being formed, and how to, take them down and everything. This one also has the female Green Lantern character, and I believe this is the first film, animated film that she's appeared in. And it's essentially about her first, discovering her powers like early on and all that kind of stuff as well. But if you guys are a fan of the DC Universe movies, I would definitely recommend you guys check this one out. 4K wise, though, this one looks really, really good. Really, really great animation on this one. Some really, really well done. And like I've said in the past with 4K, the big thing you noticed is the HDR, which is the contrast levels, as well as, much brighter picture. And I always feel like animation really, really looks good in 4K, and this one really, really is definitely, if you guys have the capacity, would recommend this one on 4K. Feature-wise, though, this has a whole bunch of features. It has a sneak peek at DC Universe's next animated movie, Batman Hush, as well as some featurettes on the film, as well as a commentary track on here, with the filmmakers, including Bruce Trim, as well as From the Vault 2 bonus cartoons on this one as well. Next one's here. I have a link where you guys can order these ones for the best price, but these are all from Movie Zing, Zing.com. And the first ones are from Sony, though, and this is, been re-released here because these were out of print, both of these films, for a while now, and they're back in print now. And this is the new 25th anniversary edition here of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and also Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. Now, these movies, to me, are just like some of my favorite movies. I've watched these movies so many times, especially the first movie. I didn't get to see the first one in theaters, theaters, though. I saw the second one in theaters, and I remember, I think that came out in like 95, and I remember like I was real worried, I was thinking I was like 9 or something like that when that released, and I was really worried it was rated R, and I wasn't going to be able to see it in theaters, so I was real paranoid when I was seeing the trailer, and I was convinced it was rated R. I don't know why, but if you guys don't know these films, the first one is about Jim Carrey's character, who is a pet detective, and he's like, he kind of is on the case of if a pet's gone missing, he tries to find him, and he has all these weird type of ways of trying to find the pets. But in this, though, there's a big case that he gets on with about this dolphin from the Miami Dolphins that was kidnapped and gone missing, and he's trying to find the dolphin, and there's all sorts of like problems he gets into, and like my favorite thing in this whole movie though is like something that happens in this mental asylum. That is like one of my favorite things. Also though, there was one thing that's not on this edition, it's never been released on Blu-ray, this scene, which was with him when he was like doing this crazy character, this dolphin trainer character. It was only ever released on the VHS and like the original DVD, but that one is like never been put onto Blu-ray. Hopefully someday that footage is like put out in HD, because I always loved that extra scene that was like only ever added though to the VHS and the early DVD. But this is just such a fun movie. Sean Young is also in this movie. Tone Loc is in this movie. Courtney Cox, I think, was one of her early films. The second movie though was him and kind of going to Africa looking for this missing bat that had gone missing, and he ends up working with this other guy who's working with him to try and find this bat. And there's all kind of problems, like the bat they think could have been taken by this tribe, but like if the tribe doesn't get this bat, there could be this whole big war and all these kind of problems. So he's really trying to do anything he can to figure out how he's going to get this bat. But also Ace Ventura's character is really scared of bats as well, so he doesn't really want to have to find this bat, because he doesn't want to have to touch the bat if he actually tracks it down and figures out where it is. But the second one gets even goofier. There's much goofier kind of stuff that happens in it. It's not as great of a movie, but I've watched it just as much. Probably not as much as the first movie, but I've watched it many times. I watched it again too. Every time it's like on TV at the gym, I watch it. I watched it again when these came. So these are just really fun movies. If you guys have never seen them, they're absolute must-watch comedies. The next one here is from Sony as well. This is Albert Brooks' film here, Modern Romance. I always really love Albert Brooks' movies. I think one of my favorite ones to watch is Mother, with Debbie Reynolds. But he also did Defending Your Life, which is a great movie. A bunch of different stuff. Like he did, what was the other one? Lost in America. Essentially, though, this is about his character, who is this editor, and he has all these on and off problems with his girlfriend, and like they're kind of like sort of together, and then they're not. And now he recently just broke up with her, and and it really seems serious now, and like they really have broken up, and he's like really like kind of depressed about it, and trying to get on with his life, and he's like talking to his friends about it, and trying to kind of figure out what he's going to do, but then he's like kind of obsessed about how he's going to try and get her back. It's kind of all just about him dealing with like all sorts of obsessions and his kind of problems and everything. It is a really fun movie. Like I said, I always really like Albert Brooks' movies. I like his humor and everything. So another one I highly recommend you guys check out, though. This one has a theatrical teaser and a trailer. I also forgot to mention, though, on the Ace Ventura ones, Ace Ventura has a commentary track with the director and a theatrical trailer, and Ace Ventura When Nature Calls has a theatrical trailer on that one as well. And the next one here is from Universal, and I have a link as well where you guys can order this one from MovieZing.com. The next two ones as well are from MovieZing. This is a movie here called, starring Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn. This is directed by Frank Oz, who also directed, What About Bob, which is a movie I hope someday comes to Blu-ray. I love that movie. This is a movie here called House Sitter. This is a movie that I saw like as a kid. I think I rented it as a kid and have not seen this movie, in 20 plus years. So watching this again was really like a really fun movie, and it's basically about Steve Martin's character, who built this. He's like this architect who ended up building a kind of this house in his hometown for his girlfriend that he's been with since he was in high school, and he's been like with her forever, and she kind of is, and he proposes to her when he shows her the house that he built, and she's like, oh, I can't marry you, and they break up. And then one night, though, Steve Martin's character is at this party at the bar, and he meets Goldie Hawn's character, who's the waitress there. He's kind of talking about this house that he built, and they end up, that night, they kind of start to kind of hang out, and they end up sleeping together, and he ends up leaving before she wakes up, and Goldie Hawn's character ends up trying to track down and going to the house that he built because it's been vacant, no one's in it. Since his girlfriend wouldn't marry him, he just left the house there vacant and doesn't really know what to do with it. So she ends up going to the house and going in there and going to the small town and saying to the people in the town that they're married and getting food for free because they put it on my husband's tab and everything, and then like she unknowingly ends up meeting his parents, and then they find out about that they're married, and he hasn't seen his parents in a long time, and then he this isn't ruining anything though, he comes back, and then it's like becomes this whole charade of them together, and the reason why he pretends like they're together is because he thinks that he can try and get his girlfriend back. So it becomes a whole big thing, but it's a really, really fun movie. I really loved watching this one. Like I said, it's one I know I saw as a kid but had not seen in years. Another one I highly recommend you guys check out. I always really loved Steve Martin. Like, I feel like everything he's been in I've always liked, and like especially like I know it was one of his earliest movies, but The Jerk, that's one of those movies you could watch that again and again and again. Same with The Man with Two Brains. All of his movies though, I mean, to me honestly, he is probably one of the top comedians in my opinion. Like, he's just like such a likable character. But another one, like I said, if you guys have not seen this one, definitely check this one out. And the next one here is from Film Buff, and this is also from Movie Zing as well. And this is Double Date, and this is basically though about these girls that end up luring guys to like their house and things like that, and it's basically they lure them there to kill them, and like you find out exactly why they're killing them and what's going on. But it's basically though about these girls are luring them, but then it cuts to these two guys that are at this bar, and like the one guy is like going like, I can't believe I'm about to be 30 and I've never slept with anybody and I got to figure it all out and I got to figure something what I'm gonna do. And the one friend's like, oh well, I'm gonna help you figure this out. And then like they see those girls there, the girls that you see in the beginning of the movie have like been luring people to this house and killing them. And of course though, they end up getting hooked up and going with these girls and going to their house, and it becomes this whole big situation of them at this house and like trying to with them kind of coming after them and all sorts of problems and everything. It's actually a really, really fun movie here, all kind of about them dealing with all the stuff happening and them coming after them. And like there was also some really, really cool music in this one as well. This one here is from The Orchard, and this is called Soul to Keep. This is about a group of people who are going to this this one house, and it's like I think it was like they go to this old farmhouse, and they're like hanging out together, and they end up kind of looking around there, kind of telling stories and all kind of stuff. And they end up discovering this ritual room, like this kind of hidden ritual room in the house. And they start going in there messing around and like doing like seance-y kind of stuff. And essentially though, it was like by going in there was a terrible thing because like weird things had happened in that house in the past. And it's kind of dealing with them like getting possessed essentially and going after one another. It's kind of like Evil Dead style kind of stuff happening, and them going after people and like kind of killing them, and like crazy kind of stuff going on, all about these teens in this house. It definitely has a real throwback kind of 80s style vibe to this one. This one here was insane. This was a really fun documentary. I didn't know much at all going into this what this was going to be like, if I was going to like this or not. This is from Magnolia Home Entertainment. It's a documentary here called Tickled, and this is I think the director of this one as well has a series on Netflix. I saw. I have to look into that shit on there. But this is basically though about this guy who is from I think he was from, I believe it's from New Zealand, I think, and he has like a documentary, like a series that he does on like interesting kind of people and weird type stuff and like quirky characters and stuff. He kind of does like series about them, kind of talking about them, what they do and everything. But in this though, he discovers about this competitive tickling competition where it's like these boys are like college age boys are like invited to do these tickle videos where they like have to like get tickled, and they get paid like $1,500, and they're getting flown out to all these places and everything. And like essentially though, he kind of writes to the people that like run the company, and he gets back this really nasty email. It's like they're talking all this horrible stuff to him, being really like offensive and everything. And he's like trying to figure out what's going on, but he wants to make this documentary, so he starts like diving into about this group and like about what exactly all this is, because it seems very strange. So he's kind of trying to find the people in the tickle videos and like trying to see if they have any contact for who the person and the woman and the guy that are behind. That's because it said these two, this man and the woman as the name of the company and everything, trying to track down who they are. But it becomes this whole, like, you know, sort of like James Bond mystery, like a true like mystery film about him trying to figure out exactly what's going on, and like these weird people that are like come down to kind of try and talk him out of doing a documentary. They come from Los Angeles like to, you know, to see him and tell him like how he shouldn't be doing this and bad things will happen, and there's all these threats, and you know, he finds out too about all these threats that are happening to people in the tickle videos and leaking the videos and exposing to the family and all this stuff. It is a absolutely bonkers, crazy documentary, absolutely a must-watch. And after you watch this, if you guys check this out, there's also a 20-minute follow-up movie as well that's on YouTube that kind of follows up what, you know, what happened after the documentary. The next ones here are all from Eureka Entertainment. And now keep in mind, though, these ones are all Region B locked, so you guys would have to have a multi-region player to play these ones. These are ones, I just want to let you guys know that these ones are available. The first one here is a Jackie Chan film here. This is from, I think it's, I'm not sure, 100% sure what the year was on. 1984. It's a movie here called Wheels on Meals. And it's basically, though, about these food truck drivers, you know, have this food truck, and they kind of get involved with this mystery and trying to protect this girl and everything. And it's an early Jackie Chan comedy film, and you could really see, though, how he got into doing like Rush Hour, because he was doing those kind of films like that before, you know. And it's this really, really crazy movie, and it has on here, though, tons of features. It has a brand new 2K restoration of the film. It has on here, though, newly restored DTS soundtrack on here. It has the optional English audio from the film's international release, as well as an alternate, much funkier soundtrack on this one. It has an alternate English dub from the 2006 DVD release on this one. It has a new exclusive audio option, custom audio option featuring the original Cantonese dialogue track mixed with alternate soundtrack. On Giant's Shoulders, an interview with Samuel Hung on this one, an additional interview with Samuel Hung as well, a bunch of other interviews with some of the cast on here, original Japanese credits on this one, blooper reel, additional outtake footage, theatrical trailer, so tons and tons of features on this one. If you guys are fans of Jackie Chan, you know, and want to see some of one of his earlier movies and like earlier comedy films, because like I said, there's some really wacky, it's like a super 80s movie as well. I definitely would recommend you guys check this one out here, and it has a booklet in here, stuff about the movie and some stills and everything. The next one here, which is from Eureka Entertainment as well, is Irma La Douche, which is from, you know, director Billy Wilder, who directed, you know, Some Like It Hot, The Apartment. You know, this one is Shirley MacLaine and Jack Lemmon, who are both together in The Apartment, back together. And I think The Apartment was first, I believe, and I think so. I think unless this one was, I'm pretty sure The Apartment was like 1960. I believe so, and then this one was afterwards, you know, in 63. But they come together, and it's basically about Jack Lemmon's character, and this is set in Paris, and he is like, you know, he becomes like obsessed with Shirley MacLaine's character, who is a prostitute, and he, you know, doesn't like that, and he wants to be, you know, he doesn't want her with other people, so he comes up with this scheme of how he can like have her be the only client. It's like a really wacky, fun movie. Like I said, if you guys liked Some Like It Hot and some of Billy Wilder's other movies, definitely one to check out. On here, though, it has a brand new 4K scan for the original camera negative on this one. It has a feature-length commentary track on here with critic and film historian Kat Ellinger. I've heard Kat Ellinger's name, though, on a lot of you know, commentary tracks, as well as a commentary track on here with film historian Joseph McBride, brand new and exclusive interview with film scholar Neil Sinyard, as well as a collectible booklet in here, which has, you know, pictures from the movie and all that kind of stuff here as well. Like I said, want to let you guys know that this one was available. And like I said, keep in mind, though, these are Region B locked, though. And then also this one here is Sync, the Bismarck. I might be saying that one wrong, though. But this one here is a film that's from I believe 1960. And this one has on this one you know, 1080p presentation on here, as well as a new and exclusive interview with film historian Sheldon Hall, and original theatrical trailer in this one. Like I said, just want you guys to know that this one was available. These are the newest releases from Eureka Entertainment. They're releasing soon, too, a collector's edition. I think it's like in a couple weeks of Cujo, which is really, really cool. Super, you know, lots of new features and stuff on that. The next one here is from Cinedigm and ITN Distribution, and it's a movie here called Hell Girl. This is about like a ghost hunting kind of show. I was getting kind of confused at first if it was like a TV show, but I'm pretty sure it was like a TV kind of show about like these ghost hunters. But essentially though, it's these ghost hunters that are kind of like schemers. They have like they fake stuff, and they have like someone there who's like doing special effects, and most of the people there are actors. There's only one guy who's really a ghost hunter and really into this stuff, but most of the other people are like hired actors and actresses to like play ghosts and, you know, do all kind of weird creepy stuff. But they end up going to this old, kind of like, sort of like summer camp kind of place where you rent like cabins and stuff. It kind of reminded me like of, like sleepaway camp kind of setting or something. And they go there, and Tom Sizemore's character is the one that shows in the tents and everything. He says, well, this is where it is, and this is where stuff happens. You know, I don't really want you to bother me, you know. And like he's in throughout this movie though, and like he's like saying, oh, you know, don't worry about it. I don't care if the place catches fire. I don't know. And basically though, they're trying to like look into this place and figure out what's going on and what the haunted kind of stuff's happening there. And when they're there though, like they start seeing weird things. They start seeing this one woman, and like weird stuff happens. Like there's water in the pool, then the next night there's no water there. People are starting to go missing, and like they're finally like, you know, seeing ghost encounters when they were basically just faking everything. And now these people, who a lot of them are actors and stuff, have to figure out what they're going to do and how to like survive at what's happening and everything. But really crazy, like I said, ghost hunting kind of film here. Next one here is from Screen Media. It's a movie here called Stray. This is basically though about this body was found in this warehouse of this woman who was like, there was no fire or anything like around, but the body was totally charred, like it was in a fire, but they can't figure out exactly what had happened, and they end up tracking down who it was, and they go to their family and like tell them about what had happened, and they kind of, you know, but then you kind of find out though that the daughter of the one that was in this fire, or, you know, burned up, and you don't know exactly what happened there, she has like some type of a strange ability that the grandmother won't tell her about, and essentially though they're trying to figure out exactly what had happened, like the detectives and everything, what had happened to the mother and why she was burned up like this. But then they're also discovering weird things. Like at the beginning of this movie, they discovered the body's like 4,000 years old, and they're kind of like, how has this happened? Like, what is going on here? So it's all this kind of mystery about who did this to the mother and what had happened, how she's that old, and what exactly all that means, and then also what this daughter's kind of powers are here. And this one, like I said, is Stray from Screen Media. Next one here is from Breaking Glass Pictures. This is called Red Room. This is kind of like a Hostel type film, like has a Hostel type vibe, the film Hostel. It's basically though about this girl who is kidnapped in the beginning of this movie. You see her pulled into this truck. She's like leaving like a gas station or something like that in the beginning. She gets pulled in this truck, and she ends up, you know, in this kind of you know, wakes up in this house with these other girls and everything, and it's kind of like a kill room kind of place where they have like cameras and everything, like I said, like kind of like in Hostel, but with cameras with people watching. And it's kind of like this big operation of like people watching online and everything, and this girl is trying to figure out exactly how she's going to get out of this situation, because she knows it's not a good thing. There's people in there who are getting killed and everything. It's essentially her trying to get out, and it's like, you know, just a horrific situation. This one has on here though radio interviews with the director, cast interviews, test screen reactions, director's audio commentary track on here, deleted scenes, and a concept promo in this one. And next one I got here is from Doppelganger Releasing. It's a movie here called Hagazusa. I may not be saying that right. This is a movie that takes place in the 15th century in Austria. It has a very similar vibe and feel to the movie The Witch. This is like a slow burn, super creepy horror movie. It's not super easy to explain, but essentially though it's about like this mother and daughter who are walking through the woods in the snowy area, and like they're warned by this weird guy out there saying, you don't want to be out late at night, that this thing is out. There's something, basically like there's something out at night in these woods, and they get back to their house and they get out, they see like some kind of a weird, like people out in these weird masks and stuff, and it's essentially though all about like weird going ons in the woods, area, and it's sort of dealing with like witch kind of stuff and witchcraft and just like folklore and all kind of just a very, very creepy slow burn movie. Like I said, it's very hard to explain. It also goes through different periods of time and everything as well, but a very, very creepy movie. If you guys are a fan of the movie The Witch, it definitely, like I said, has that kind of vibe to this. On here, feature-wise, though, it has a selected scene, director's commentary track on here, a short film, music video, and a deleted scene on this one. The next one here is from Monarch Home Entertainment. It's a movie here called Fortune Defines Death. This is basically about this guy who is on his deathbed, and he has his lawyer come in, and he's like, oh, I'm changing my will. I want to make a big change to the will because he wants to make it so it's like kind of uproars the family, and like the will won't be read till 10 years after his death, or if his missing daughter is found. If his missing daughter is found, then the will be read immediately to the family. So then this cuts to 10 years later, and then like the family all comes back together again, and they haven't seen each other in years and years and years, and they all kind of have like problems with one another, and like some of them really dislike each other, and they have all kind of like this, they, kind of blaming each other for certain things and bringing up the past, and the movie cuts back and forth too to certain things that happened in the past. But there's like this like big mystery though, like I said, to the guy who died. His daughter had gone missing, and like she kind of left, and like no one knows exactly where she was, and then they're like suspecting that maybe somebody in the family that's there for the will reading could have been the culprit and could have actually killed the daughter, and there's like all kind of mysteries to all this kind of stuff, and it's kind of has like a Clue whodunit kind of vibe, this one, a little bit, like with them all together in this house and everything. But a really interesting, like I said, that kind of a vibe, if you guys are a fan of things like Clue, but more of a serious type film, definitely has that type of vibe to that one. And the next one here is in a really cool, the way this was sent. The director sent this over. You can order this one from the website, thefearfootage.com, and it was sent inside this thing that's like an evidence bag. And this is a found footage movie, but in here, though, it also has some other cool things in here. It has like a missing poster is in here, a little missing poster, and as well as like a letter in here, which, you see this letter in the movie. It's like a blood-stained letter here. But essentially, though, like I said, it's a found footage movie about this cop who was called because like people in this neighborhood were like this house that had like something happened to this house years ago, and it had been gone for years, but all of a sudden like these neighbors, they're calling in saying, I don't know what's going on, this house all of a sudden has appeared again. For some reason this house has been torn down, it's gone, it's back. And the cop goes, and it's all from his body cam footage, like the camera that he wears, it's all from his perspective of his footage of him going into this house. And when he gets in there, though, he sees this VCR, and there's this tape in the VCR, and he watches it, and it's an anthology film where it kind of cuts to one of the stories, and then it cuts to him back in the house, looking through the house and kind of discovering and seeing weird things in there, and weird things are happening in the house, and it cuts to another story. The one story was really creepy in here, though, about like this kid seeing this clown outside the house, because he sees like a story about like clown sightings that are all around. Then he starts seeing this clown outside, and he's like telling the mother about it, and it's like there's some really creepy jump scares in this one. But if you guys are fans of like found footage horror movies, definitely check this one out here. And like I said, this one's called The Fear Footage, and you can order that from thefearfootage.com. The last one here is from Small Town Monsters, and this one, though, is also, you guys can watch this one. I have it in this paper here. It's also on streaming, so it's on March 29th. It's on streaming, so it's on there now, though, on on Amazon Instant Video, Vimeo On Demand, VidiSpace, as well as the DVD is available. And this is a series here called On the Trail of Bigfoot. And if you guys are fans of like things like documentaries dealing with Bigfoot, this is definitely something to check out. This is essentially, though, about these filmmakers who are interviewing people who have had like encounters, or people's kind of like authors on Bigfoot, and like their views on Bigfoot. It's not about trying to like capture Bigfoot exactly on camera. It's more about like trying to kind of document evidence that Bigfoot exists, and people about things that they've seen and their encounters, and like what they think about Bigfoot and what their views are and everything on it. But this is a 2-disc set here on this one. Like I said, if you guys are fans of Bigfoot documentaries and all that kind of stuff about, the legends of Bigfoot and like encounters and people's theories and all that stuff, definitely check this one out. But anyway though guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching, subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.